Dota 2 is just a bunch of nerd shit, right? Like I have no and I'm not saying that denigratingly exactly, but like if you're going to be good at Dota 2, you have to learn a lot of nerd shit, right? And it's just not what I want to spend my time doing. And so, if you make a team shooter version of that, you know, and it's weird. It's a lot of it is situational, right? Like, so Escape from Tarkov is full of nerd shit, but somehow, somehow I don't mind learning that. But like Dota, I can't be bothered. It's something about like, look, there's all this complexity, right? And the designers of such a game with all that complexity would argue that it makes the game better, probably. Um, we don't need to argue against that because it might be true. I mean, it's very situational and personal, right? But you can ask yourself, like, how good of a game can I have? Or whatever are the things that are being valued, like, strong decision making in combat and whatever, right? If you cut out half the complexity, right, is the game better, the same, or like 0.00001 worse, or like a lot worse, right? And my feeling about most of those is that if you cut out half the complexity, at least, they would actually be a better game, right? At most, if you do value all the weird things that people value of the incredible learning curve, then maybe it gets epsilon worse. But you actually open up by making the rules simpler and the number of characters lower and all that. You enable development bandwidth by which you can actually make the game better in other dimensions to make up for that epsilon worse. And it's much more accessible and all these things. I just I just don't like that model of game. I don't mind if there's an incredible amount of complexity that you learn, but I think games should be playable without having to get a 4-year college degree in how to play them. And then if you want to invest in learning all the complexity and all that, you can keep going and do that, right? And I know that Valve probably agrees because they tried to do that, right? So after Dota 2 had been out a while and they'd been working on it a while, they released like a tutorial mode and a single player, campaign, and tried to make it very newbie friendly. And it probably did move the puck in that direction down the field somewhat. But the problem is the game is just like so complicated, right? There's like 100 and something heroes and you're trying to fight a random, like, there's 100 and something heroes. So if people play heroes uniformly randomly, and you always pick the same hero, right? Which is not the case, right? But we're just going to make a numeric case, right? So let's say there's 110. There's probably over 200 heroes in Dota now, right? I don't even know how many. How many heroes in Dota 2? 126. Okay, they did slow down, but yeah. So it's 126 heroes. If you always play the same hero, you picked Morphling because you heard that was Gay Ben's favorite hero, right? And then everybody else plays randomly. You have to play 126 matches before you've even seen every other hero, much less. So, and to fight them, you have to know their attacks and, what all their powers are and how the staff of amazingness changes when they wield it and all these things, right? So like, how many games does that take? Like at least 10 against every hero, right? So you need to play 1,260 games before you can kind of competently play, kind of. So it just seems like too much to me, right? Now, that's the thing, though, is The business model is that you keep people interested by releasing all these heroes all the time, right? And like Dota 1 had a lot of heroes, so you couldn't start with less than the Dota 1 number of heroes. 108. See, that's a magic Chinese number, so that's okay. It's just too many. Like it's just the game would be a lot better if there were fewer heroes, I believe. Same with Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike would be better if the number of guns were divided by 3. But the business model is they try to keep people interested with all these different guns and stuff.